Hello, and welcome to Taleweaver's Dungeons and Dragons after show. I'm Daniel, your dungeon master, storyteller, your leader of this shenanigans, and we are going to have a little Q&A today. But before we start that, I would like my beautiful players to introduce themselves, as well as the character that they played.
I think I go first. Is that right? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Katrina, and I played Adeema Strongjaw, a giant, right?
Goliath.
Goliath. Giant
Yes.
Goliath. A warrior class.
Someone is going to club you in the head for that.
I know.
Hi, I'm Tare. I played Orpheus, a human mage.
The voice.
Orpheus, whose task it is to perceive and control the delicate balance of the cosmos.
Easily my favorite bit. I'm dealing with the dog thing. So it's gonna be going on in the background. Hi.
For a druid.
Are you going? Am I going?
You're
You are.
Cool.
Going.
Hi, name's Alex. I played Baast, who is a ranger beastmaster.
Oh, Ranger.
And hi, I am Marianne, and I played Wren Shadeleaf, a druid.
Yes. So today I'm sure I'm gonna do more than enough talking, but to lead this madness, it's not gonna be me today. It's Katrina who's gonna take this.
Reins. I'm gonna take the
Reins,
reins.
yes.
The
Thank
wheel?
you.
The wheel, the reins.
Yeah, I was about to say the wheel, but it's like this.
The
Don't
reins.
derail immediately.
It's
so-
reins. We're D&D. It's fantasy setting.
Yes.
All right. Well, we have some questions. We have questions for individual players. Also, we have questions for our dear, beautiful dungeon master, and questions for whoever feels the urge to share some intel and light on any questions and information that we are keen to know. But I'm gonna kick it off, and this is gonna go to the GM, Daniel, the man of the hour. So, and it's about world building. What inspired you to create the unique world and lore of your Dungeons and Dragons campaign? And how did you go about designing its various cultures, fractions, and magical creatures?
Ooh, that's a big one. I think just mainly because this is a sort of setting a world without gods in the normal sense. Because I was planning on writing a book actually at some point, and so and since I've been DMing for quite a long time now, I started in 2014. So I've made all these weird little things from, weird little villages and made cults and cities and everything in between for so long. So I've picked sort of my favorites throughout that, and things that I've just vaguely remember at some point being from something when I used to play way too long sessions. I used to play sessions that lasted between 8 to 12 hours, and we did that weekly.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, so
Students.
of course some of those times are a little hazy of like what actually happened at any point. I don't really know, but yeah. So I for making the sort of prime titans that made the world, I looked at the sort of cosmology wheel of D&D, and because you have the Feywild, the Shadowfell, and then you have the elemental planes on the outside, and I was like, what if those were just remnants of the beings that created all of it? So I just looked at them and be like, what could this be? What could this be? Of course, the elemental ones was very simple because that's just becomes elemental titans, but yeah. So yeah, that's how it all started, and I'm still working on the sort of in-depth cosmology and still making weird civilizations and orders and things for that world. So I'm still building on it.
Okay, cool.
I think.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
like the way that you structured it, like you took it away from like the normal standard D&D, but you made it close enough for everyone to understand. It's like it's a part, but it's not. It's all very relatable and it's easy to kind of get into. So
100% agree. It was very easy to grasp the concept of the world that you were painting for us. But I do know, and because you are an old school D&D player and you have been a GM, as you said, for quite some time, not everybody appreciates homebrew worlds. And I know you play with other groups. So have you ever encountered that this to be a point of contestant that people don't appreciate when you lean in and create more of a world custom?
Yes, I have definitely run into that, and that's the reason that I stopped going to, events where where I came as a DM and didn't know anybody who's going to be what players like, what characters going to be, and everything, and just some random people sitting down and being like, "Ah, we're this and this level," like for adventure leagues and such as that, and yeah, that almost killed the entire joy of. I almost stopped DMing entirely, and from that on, actually just was like, okay, no, if I'm gonna play, I'm gonna do it with friends or people that I want at my table, or if there's somebody that I don't know, I'm still gonna be like I started making presentations like a 1 to 3 pages of this is the world, this is the setting, this is the campaign I'm gonna run.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want to do, and if there's anything within these bounds that you want more of or less of, please let me know. But this is what I'm running. If you don't like this, this isn't the table for you.
lucky us.
Lucky us.
To have
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100% appreciate it. I love the creativity, and I came in with, even though I also played role-playing games for quite some time. D&D is one of the games I haven't really, well, the waters of D&D I haven't really like swam in that much. So I want to kick a question out to the other players. What's your relationship to D&D? Is it something that you are comfortable with, played a lot, or like me, quite of a noob at it, really?
I mean, it's like the only one that I've really played like with people. I've done a little bit of Cthulhu, like Call of Cthulhu, and some solo role-playing stuff. Like
Just you in
like
the shower.
Iron, yeah, like Iron Sworn, for example, that type of thing. But so I like D&D is like the main system that I've played, which Daniel was the one who introduced me to it a couple of years ago. Like, as I'm sure a lot of people got into it properly during the pandemic, and then it just spiraled very quickly. Where it's like, this is everything I like to do, and I just didn't know that there was a format for all of it, right? So yeah, I can I do like a quick side question to Daniel though? I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to so like prepping for, because I've been DMing for a little while now as well, but I've never done anything where it's actually recorded or streamed or whatever. So like prepping for at a table, just offline, like normal play. Do you prep differently for that than you would like recording? Is there higher stake prepping for the recording type of thing?
No. I prepped as I would do normally, because I thought about it for a while, but I was like, no, why would I do that? I don't even know how to do that. I'm just gonna prep like I would normally do, and
Mm.
the thing is, I just prepping for something that is limited, and it needs to be between like a certain amount of episodes and such. So that's sort of the only difference, apart from prepping a normal campaign, that I'm thinking, this could go on for 6 months or 3 years, I don't know. This is more like, okay, I need to have a start, and I need to have sort of the definite end, and I need to find several ways to get there, just in case.
And still feeling organic in
Oh
a
yeah,
sense. Yeah, and I gotta say, it was a hell of a lot of fun.
But I kind of feel like railroading gets such a bad rep. Like I just feel like that's always like the main thing. And if people are super new to this, the concept of railroading is when the idea is like, this is the journey we're on, we're guiding it this way, instead of doing sandbox, which is
Feels like you're being
I'm just
forced to do things.
yeah, that kind of thing. Like railroad is more of like, this is a set story that we're following, whereas sandbox is like, we're just sprinkling a bunch of things, right? But for this type of thing, I mean, I kind of want that. Like because we're telling a specific story. Because we wrote the characters to fit the specific story. Like, we didn't write whatever the fuck we wanted to play. When we had our own journeys of doing whatever, right?
Yeah. But you're not jumping the gun, Alex. I'm gonna interject a little bit because we have questions about that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. We have tons of questions about that, and we'll get to that.
Stop railroading my commentary.
We have questions to the players and
She's guiding you.
I'm guiding.
God damn it!
Yeah, we have, because we have questions about that topic.
All right,
go to the players
right,
and go to
right.
the GM itself. So, to Mariana Otaye, who wants to pick up the mantle, your experience with D&D, and if or any.
Should I go first? Do you want to? Okay, go first. Well, I played D&D before, but I never played this iteration. Last time I played was back with 3.5, I believe. But I haven't played that much of that either. Mostly I played way back when it was advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Good old taco parties.
Oh god, fucking taco.
So I'm familiar with it, and but this is actually the first time I played in a pre-generated world. First time I played in a homebrewed world, and I really liked it. I also think it's sometimes even more fun. Well, it's more fun in many ways because you don't really know everything. Things are new. You get that if you want to go for a sense of wonder, not knowing every little micro detail of it, it really is refreshing.
Yeah, 100%.
I have little to no experience in D&D. It's sort of a half lie, half truth, because I did a lot of LARPing back in the day, and a lot of these were D&D inspired. So from the world and the elements in D&D which it's based on, those are not foreign to me. But I never straight up played an RPG like D&D campaign with dices and the whole system. I've never done that. So I think that was, for me doing this, I was like, oh my god, I don't know anything. I need to have cheat sheets. Like, thank God for the tablet and all of the automated things, because I would have fucked that up. Even though I have dices, and I do have a fighter book that I bought when I was 13. So, but I never played it. So I don't know.
Hey, man.
Yeah. And obviously, I think we've mentioned it before, huge Crit Role fan. So obviously, but that's a different D&D setting. But I think, yeah. I think, I'm sorry, Katrina, but I will have one comment to the railroading. As a fan that have watched other streams in the D&D world, I hate railroading. I hate watching people being railroaded. So I think when Daniel is guiding us, he's doing it without it seeming that he's railroading us, if he was.
Yeah, but
that is appreciated.
Yeah, but that's also a telltale sign of an experienced dungeon master or GM, storyteller, whatever you want to call it, that don't necessarily twist the arms of their players to make them go into said dungeon, but gives them motivation to, on their own accord, want to be a part of this adventure and story. Because I also have opinions on railroading, but on that note, it's gonna brush on that, and then it will give the freedom for everyone to speak more of it. So this is gonna go to Daniel again. Were there any points in the journey you had a plan, but your players completely fucked it?
I wouldn't say fucked it, because I've been DMing for long enough that no plan will ever survive contact with the player. As soon as the players are involved, nothing will ever go as planned. So I make situations and I just make settings and I be like, I'm just sitting there like, I wonder how they'll deal with this. Because the only plan was sort of, I need to get you to the Temple of Fate and through that and to the end fight. That was the plan. And I don't ever make more detailed plans than that. But I must say that the way with when you met the vampire, I was just like, this can go so many ways, and it didn't go in any of the ways I expected it to go. I knew there would be a fight at some point, but just all the fucking about and all of that, and I absolutely loved it, and I had such a hard time maintaining that character.
That's a fun
But I think that
Oh,
would
yeah.
be even better.
Was that the
The
Valley
teenage
Girl?
witch?
The,
Yeah.
the Valley Girl
It's a
vampire?
Valley Girl combined with Lumpy Space Princess from Adventure Time.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but
I put so many weird little Easter eggs in. I made so many of them and just sprinkled them in, and it was like, I knew people got some of them. There was one where I made specifically that I knew Tarjei would just.
but Tarjei gets everything.
Yeah, but this was.
He's a sage as that stuff.
So I just put in really weird, and I'm not sure if every reference ever sort of, if anybody got that it was a reference to anything, and I'm not sure even if the viewers got it at all. Because, like, the sunflower, that's an Undertale reference to Flowey, sort of a bad guy from, Undertale as a game, so yeah.
Oh, I haven't played it, so I wouldn't
No,
get
I haven't
that.
either.
No, exactly. So it's just like...
I was like, Plant versus Zombies? No.
No, it's a weird, sentient, talking evil plant.
I loved it. Even to be inside it, it was an experience.
Yeah, exactly.
But then, since the other players were jumping at the topic of railroading, which is quite a hot potato amongst GMs and players, Danielle, before we let the cats loose in the bag, what's your opinions about railroading?
To a degree, in a lot of stories you need it to a degree, but it's something that you need to agreed on with your players, that I will put out a goal and you should work towards this goal, because if you don't, there will be extreme consequences, because if you don't stop the bad guy that is doing something really evil, and then later on you're like, well, why does it has consequences, what happened? And I've been accused of railroading because it's simply been consequences.
Yeah,
because that happens in games. I've lost even contact with somebody that I knew quite well for a few years, who he doesn't speak to me anymore because of a consequence that happened in game.
Wow.
And because he was ruining the fun for others, and he accused me, like, well, you're very railroading, and I said, oh, if I was, I would have said no. When you wanted to do the plan, I would just said no, and then said, you do this instead. Railroading of taking away a choice, I don't like that. But,
yeah, I 100% agree. It's like, don't complain about consequences when you ask for them.
Yeah,
that's just that's the nature of the game.
Yeah,
I think so. But
I
now,
think
Alex,
all of you as GMs have had
railroading.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Also, that's hysterical. Imagine being so petty that you would break contact with someone for something that happened in an imaginary game.
Real life, just friends no longer friends because of plastic dice and paper sheet of like.
Oh
Really
man,
serious?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that person does well. I hope they grow and
succeed in life. Amen.
Do good things. Anyways, yeah, but I mean, maybe I phrased it a little differently. I think just mainly people generally, like, that's a good example, will just throw the word railroading at something as long as they don't like it, or as long as they can't do whatever the fuck they would like, right? Like, we all wrote characters that fit this adventure because we wanted to tell a specific story. I mean, to a degree that is a little putting kind of guided into a specific series of events, instead of we all being a bunch of randos meeting at a tavern like, oh, what do you want to do? That's like how you set up a campaign that could last for years because you don't know what you're going to do. We have X amount of episodes kind of. But then again, that's maybe just my take or my, what do you call it? Interpretation of what that is.
Yeah, your perspective on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
But I mean, it's like doing a one shot. Like, you know, a one shot is going to be this. This is a long shot. Like, we have one thing.
I think
Like, I'm gonna
if you're
Yeah, I
doing like
agree.
a dungeon crawl and you have a map in front of you, you know where the map kind of
Yeah.
starts and where it ends.
No,
and
that's railroading. I wouldn't go through that
Yeah,
wall.
no. But there's a wall there.
I wouldn't even go
Okay.
in this dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it depends a bit how you see railroading. I mean,
Yeah.
if you narrow it down to say like taking way choice, like there's only one way. So you have to go, and you have to go linear. You
yes.
have to go A, B, C, D, E,
Yes.
F. You have to succeed at every spot, and all the way. That's more what I would call railroading. Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
more having a structured narrative, and if the players don't want to engage with that narrative, why would you want to play that game in the first place?
Yeah.
Which comes
But I
back to being agreeing about what you wanted to play, like having a sort of at least a bit of a share common idea and agreement that this is something we want to do. This is the kind of game we want to play. Because if you have 4 players and with 4 different visions and 4 different wishes of what they want to play. Some want to play completely open sandbox, just walking around. Someone hack and slash. Someone strict narrative. Someone deep emotional playing. That's gonna be a real hard party to satisfy everyone. Because after all, I mean, having fun is a social contract that essentially it all revolves around. But I think you could probably have fun with a completely railroading, like one shot, if everyone shows up knowing this is it and going. I don't know exactly what would be a good example, but probably something really tropey where it's really play something if it's just for fun. Probably some comic action comedy kind of thing. You could probably have a lot of fun if it's. But then everyone's gonna be on board that this is what's gonna happen. Like this is what we're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
But like consequences, I'm a big fan of that. And like as a storyteller as well. If I start GM or storytelling someone where the players have an opposition, like someone working towards other goals that I'm conflicting them, I generally just make up a plan that what they will do. If the players don't engage with it at all, this is what they're going to do. And this is what's going to happen. And then, of course, the more they engage with that and try to stop it or prevent it, things going to change and live.
Yeah, I lived as a storyteller myself. I live by the golden rule that I am not responsible for your fun. If you have signed up for this, if I say I need a group of investigators to have fun, but you have freedom within the parameters of a detective, you can make it as fucked up or as mundane or as whatever the hell you want. But I'm saying to have fun, and if you want to play this, you are responsible to meet me halfway. If you're gonna be a dick about it, you're not gonna have fun, and that is not my responsibility. Because that is the nature of role playing. It's almost an organic experience of creating a story with all the tugs and pulls and all the fun that happens in between. And if you sit on your hind legs and just to say no, then don't play. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Oh, if you have an issue, bring it up to your storyteller. Try to come to a common ground and see if it's possible. But just be dismissive. No.
Or I mean, write a book.
Write a book.
Like if you don't want to improvise, if you don't want to, if you want things to go a specific way because that's the way you see it, write a book.
Yeah.
Like there's ways to be creative in telling a story without having to do it with people.
Here we don't want to deal with people. Speaking of that, we have one more question for our GM. Maybe about this topic actually. Did you feel that the player characters fitted the vision you had for the story? Because we've been talking about that. I feel that's a natural way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And because I made the framework and I wanted I had the setting, but I didn't until I talked with all of you what you were thinking about characters, because there was a lot of pieces that I didn't finish at all until I knew what people wanted to play. when it came to class and such, because I'm a big fan of the expression "shoot your monk," which is because in fifth edition, monks have an ability to grab. If you shoot them with an arrow at a certain level, they have an ability where they can grab arrows and throw them back at people. And there's a lot of GMs who suddenly, when players start having those cool abilities, suddenly there's no more archers, or all the archers are targeting other people and all of that. And I'm just like, but let them do the cool shit. That's
Everybody
the
wants to
fun
do
part.
the cool shit.
Exactly. Give people. So a lot of things that I made, I had places, but I didn't know what the challenge was yet, and all of that. And I made characters. So it was. And since I know and trust you guys, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give them the setting and sort of the vague goal and a little bit. I knew that you would, invest and actually put yourself into this and make characters that you thought would fit. And yeah, so I was just sitting there and be like, oh, okay, cool. We have a ranger. There will definitely be sort of wilderness exploring things, because if we didn't have a ranger or a druid, so sort of no, nature folks, I would have just dropped all of that and be like, well, here are a few roads.
Right?
Instead,
Yeah.
there would be just
Yeah.
sort of, because you need to let people do cool shit or the things that the characters can do. So
That's a great point. Yeah.
I made a sandwich.
That is my top favorite use of that spell that I've
Oh, sorry, was it just a tomato and a lettuce leaf?
Yeah, I
don't know.
think you like created lettuce and
yeah,
like sliced tomatoes.
That is so cute.
yeah,
I died.
I have like that's one of the pleasures with not
Oh.
have played with these rules, that I don't
So
actually
good.
know what the general things are. So yeah, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, I love people who haven't, because people who have played for almost said too long, or because people who have played
Yeah.
in a specific way for long, and you're like, no, this is how you play it, and this is how these classes go. This is how this character should be. And I was like, no, do the weird thing. Do
Yeah,
make
I have
a
a-
sliced tomato.
Yeah, but I
have a
quest-
wizard jump an agility
Yeah,
path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure that the wizard does the one fitness test in this.
And we love that. And then I want to ask a question for all players, and throw your hand up if you want to be first. How your character started out and how it ended up. Would you started with where you ended up? Did you plan for that? Was there a progression? Did it change? Or was the character just true and stayed the same from beginning to end?
Do you mean like from beginning creating it to finish creating it, or from beginning play to
From
end of
first
play?
session to last session, do you feel like is it the same character, and was there character development? Did it change in a surprising way?
Well, I think you often find the character a bit as you play, but I felt like the mannerism and the
voice.
personality of the character
Voice.
came really fast. That was really like that just fitted like, okay, I got that. So I think it grew with more that
Pratchett. That's what
taking
it was like.
I mean, it
You
was
took me there.
since it actually was a quite personal quest was quite personally tied to
Yeah.
each character in a specific way as well. So that definitely was also the catharsis for the character, like to able to finally confront demons of his past and try to get some, either be it justice, vengeance, or something like that, and also that doing that realizing a bit about himself. So yes, I'd say he probably grew a bit, became a little bit less narcissistic, a little bit less smart Alec lording it over everyone else.
But I see he could go through evil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%. There is the glimmer in Orpheus, I think. If he
Yeah.
tasted true power, he
I think it's
could be
Taya.
corrupted. Yeah,
Yeah.
with Taya.
Yeah, but then also because essentially he is a bit of, he is a bit, I wouldn't say pathetic, but he's not the public, right? He's been felt that he's been wrong, and if that is the easy way to create a villain, someone who focuses on like, oh, everyone's against me. It's me, poor me against the world. That could easily
I mean,
crystallize
that's
Yeah,
into
'cause
what
we-
happened to our villain, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the story
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, because he starts off and he wants to do good and he has been threaded down and now he's the faded. I'm like, it would be a cool story arc for a villain. I'm just saying, Orpheus.
Yeah.
Is that the corruption of power that just
Yeah,
comes? And also,
absolutely.
yeah.
Have-
And
have
also,
you-
like, always being the smartest guy in the room. Like, you'll have the highest
Oh,
intelligence.
I thought that was a different. I know her.
But like, there's a difference between thinking you're the smartest guy in the room and actually being the smartest one in the room. And like,
What do you mean?
just going off stats alone, Tarjay or Orpheus rather is the
smartest
smartest
guy in
one.
the room,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like he knows it too. Like there's no question at all.
and coupled with a bit poor social skills.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you other two.
I think I wrote my character pretty sad. And I wrote a shit ton of backstory to her, several pages. And I took her from, I thought she was going to be a little depressed and a little, I don't know, not happy, fun, but I just
Emo.
realized within the first 5 minutes that she needed to be different. Just because you cannot play with this bunch of people, with these characters without being
Laughing
happy.
your ass up. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think she took the journey of like being really whimsical and happy and I don't know, and then in the end a little, and then also I think I didn't like I wrote her to be attached to Adeema, but I didn't write her to be stupid about Adeema, but that's also evolved.
I loved
so,
it,
yeah.
gotta say. I was here for all of that. I was numbing it. I was like, yum, yum, yum.
But like, was that a conscious choice that came later on? Like, okay, I'm just gonna lean into this, or did that just feel more natural?
Yeah, it just felt
Okay.
more natural, and then it became a point like
That she would just
this is
simp
like I cannot.
for Adeema.
I'm just falling
Everybody
now.
loves a muscle mommy, dearest.
You've gone into that. You jumped down the rabbit hole. You're going to see how deep it goes.
Exactly. So there was no stopping. It was just like the boulder running down the hill. It was like, yeah. And I was just holding on.
Because I mean, it was cult-like devotion.
Oh. And why are we
You still
complaining?
don't know what she did for me. So
No, it was like it was insane. I really, it was fun to start off like that.
you were worried
and,
about it. Baast was worried.
Baast had like a moment of like fuck, like this could turn. Like you need to find yourself. Like you need to find your voice. You need to like
Get out. But that's
Yeah,
a
like
beautiful.
this-
That's a beautiful segue to Baast, actually. Where he started, where he ended up.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things like with rangers, like if you're doing any type of ranger build or character work with the ranger, it's always like that loner type of thing of like I can't work with people, I have to be in the woods or whatever, you know? That's like a classic ranger trope. So I kind of thought it's more fun to do the ranger bit of like, oh, I'm serving of my community. So like in terms, I also wrote a shit ton of things. So, but the idea of like, oh, you're in service to your community. So like without saying too much of it, but like before Baast was a fated or realized he was a fated, he worked as like a trapper and a water finder for his community. So like he's from a desert druid tribe. So like he of service. So I think that was like one of those things like, oh cool, you're trying to guide it, like, oh, you're kind of finding your path, so maybe now it's time to help someone else find their path. And it was just
Oh, you were the heart of the story.
no, I mean that kind of came around a little bit with just seeing someone that invests so much of like their existence of praising and pleasing someone else. It's like it would just like one of the like Jesus, I need like a And that, I don't know how much of that is Baast and how much of that is me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, just.
When you were writing Baast, did you expect to become the party's voice of reason?
Dr. Phil!
Our father.
Did
No.
you at any
I
point
need
be
you
like,
to start getting
"Ah."
excited about your life.
Yeah, exactly. I felt Baast at one point was like, Jesus Christ, this group is fucked. Okay, well, we just need to stick it through,
Got some
and
issues,
I
got some
need
issues.
to just make sure that people are somewhat okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but it was fun doing that too. It could, I don't know why, but that is a strange thing because you're trying to be a little mediate. You try to mediate a little bit. But maybe that was also a thing that came out because I haven't played with you guys before. Like we,
Ah,
so
100%, yeah.
so maybe that's the thing of like you're trying to find also Boss trying to find his place in the group because he doesn't know anyone before this, but I also don't know anyone out of game, right?
Yeah, no, but that's the whole point of like
Yeah.
roping is creating something. It's not one thing. It's hopefully it's not a flat thing. And for me with Adeema, I didn't want to write a heavy background story because I wanted it to come through my imagination through play as I started to figure out who she was. I'm a kind of sucker for playing very flawed persons. I think it's fun to play very flawed people. Like Adeema has an extreme low self-esteem because she's smaller than Goliath, generally speaking. She wants to be a wizard. She's not smart enough to become a wizard. So she overcompensates, being very like, I will be the loudest, the biggest, the most extra in the room, to hide her lack of feeling confident in anything else but wielding a sword, which is also, yeah, she's really good at it, and she should be a hero and a warrior, but she would love much more to be Orpheus. And that's also, I try to make a point that she's constantly almost like picking
Our
on him.
characters are so fucked, all
Yeah, so
except
fucked up.
Bast.
And she loves the adoration and of my honest character, like the adoration, but it's also uncomfortable because then she has to overcompensate on her already piss poor sense of self.
Right, because you have to
So-
live up to it then.
Yeah,
right?
you have to live up
Yeah.
to it. So that's a very toxic relationship between them. Because
think-
none of them are getting what they should have out of a good relationship. It's
No.
it's a very, very like, it's Thelma and Louise over the cliff. It's like, that's where we're going.
And
Yeah.
this is
That
like a
relation-
12
yeah.
episode D&D campaign
yeah.
for fun.
What the fuck?
Imagine if this was a 3-year long campaign. It
I
was,
would
you know,
hope for, yeah, if I got to play Adeema again, I would love to have like almost like a more of a coming of age, coming to a more of a like having her story that she grew up more. I kind of also played it because they can be quite old, that she was kind of young in the sense of being a hero and all that jazz. So I would, if I were to revisit her, I would try to grow on the fact that she's been through battle now, and now she needs to figure out if it is a faded one, a hero she wants to be, or if she wants to be something else entirely, and that could be cool. So that's my point of view. I think where she started, where she ended up, was quite a journey for me. I didn't know she was going to be so fucked up, but that's the fun. That's the
But I
fun.
find it.
Can I sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just want to actually throw that question to Donna. If any of his characters or NPCs changed from what you thought they were going to be after meeting us, and like how they become meeting us,
Ooh.
and if there was anything. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, well, the mayor I changed up.
The mayor, moo motherfucker. No, that's a bear.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
mayor.
yeah.
That's the
No,
other guy. I love
yeah,
all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, the Mayor Barrington, I
Womp womp.
changed him quite a bit after, well, I think halfway through the first session, I'm like, yeah, nah, we're just rewriting this one, because he was always a bear from the start, and based on an old green text D&D meme from, I think, yeah, it's
Mayor
from
Bear?
Reddit. Huh?
Mere bear.
No, it's from an older edition where there was a player who, or there's a story of somebody who played someone who was actually a bear but had so high deception that he just tricked everyone into like just not being a bear. This campaign had and he in this campaign had sort of he had someone who could speak to animals that was then sort of just his interpreter, because he was just foreign. That's why nobody understood him.
I love that. That's great. Before we take a quick little break, Taya, you look like you were gonna say something on the
No. I was just gonna comment about the fighter barbarian relationship with a halfling. Point out that we played before a certain movie came out.
What? Inspiration.
What?
D&D.
What are you talking? Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
No, have I, but I've seen the memes. But on that little note, everybody can refresh their glass, stretch their legs. We'll be right back with the second part of our Q&A. So, bye. See you in a minute.
Bye.
I don't know why I'm doing finger guns.
I like the finger guns. Everyone does finger. I mean, it's coming back. It's coming back.
Hi, welcome back from the break. We are still here and we are still in a very good mood.
We're celebrating International Finger Gun Day.
He's not having fun.
He's somber.
I'm being
He's professional.
He's professional. We are just a shit show. But we are a lovely shit show and we do very much enjoy each other. I'm gonna throw out a question to get the second part kicked off, and it's a good question, and we've had it in many Q&As, and it should be honored in this one as well. I would like to throw out to everyone to explain or tell about your most memorable moment, a good, bad, or other. We can start with the GM.
Ooh. Yes, I knew this question was coming, and I haven't decided yet, but it's hard to pick a favorite moment, but as a GM, I always love sort of the moments where the characters are just, where just the banter is going, and we're just playing on each other, and, you just... And I just sit there and I haven't prompted anything because this is nowhere near. Technically, this isn't really progression, but it's so fun. And I think when you guys were at it was when you were at the farm, and Orpheus was standing there talking to this farmer who was just really just didn't acknowledge him for who he was at all, and just the shit all of you guys gave to each other in the rest of that scene, and on the rest of up until the combat, and just going back and forth, and I love that so much. I think I've gone back and watched that 3 times.
Oh, that's lovely. Well then, Alex.
I mean, the horse scene is quite legendary. I mean,
I was so unprepared.
I'm almost crying just thinking about it because it was so fucking funny and I couldn't contain myself. And
I mean, yeah, the horse episode comes quite early, but I feel like that sets the tone so well.
Yeah.
That was great. I love that so much. I think I kind of like failure as well. I don't. It's not like I have a worst moment, but I know that I had the whole sequence of I was sneaking up to the mayor's office. I was doing that, rolling insane stealth and shit, doing super well. And then I'm gonna sneak the book back into the mayor's pocket, just buy him out, drops the thing, It's like it's just we're also one, just being an absolute idiot. Like we've established great rapport with this guy. It's going well. Like I'll keep your secret, and then just going out on an absolute goof.
That
Like
was the last you
sometimes,
saw of him as well, right?
yeah, yeah, I've never been back. Well, like thanks, man.
Good luck.
It's a perfect
Here's,
nap.
here's your book.
Yeah, I love the parts when everything's going well, but then the dice are just like, this
Not
would be
your
fun."
friend!
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just like, and it makes those moments.
Also, I
that-
mean, I also just decided like, oh, I want to sneak it back. I could have just said like,
Oh,
I'm
you
sorry,
took
I had
this.
this the wrong way around. I took this. I could have just come clean. I could have done like the honor thief thing
Or
of like
you
I
could have put it on a desk when he wasn't looking, but no,
Oh,
in his
yeah.
pockets.
yeah, no, I'm gonna give
Where it definitely
That's too
was
simple,
earlier.
Daniel.
But Alex was doing the yes and.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
very much. Snaps all around. Yes and.
just
Let's make shit difficult.
yeah.
Give it to the dice gods. Well, okay then. Ty,
Ooh, that's a difficult pick. I mean,
favorite.
I did love the whole scene of the farm as well. It was great fun, and I loved that NPC, the cow, the farmer, and the mayor were definitely my two favorite NPCs. But since you picked that, I'm gonna pick another one, and it's connected to Alex's little sneaking and escapading, and that's the fighting in the flower when I got to show the what do we say, the exceptional courage of Orpheus, or rather his extreme cowardice, like half fleeing and then getting doused by like the pollen from the flower.
Oh yeah.
Because that led to led to fun consequences to the role play on for several episodes after that. Like it gave me a lot to play with going forward, which was not plot related, not like meta related, but just pure fun shenanigan role playing. Like, is he turning into a flower or not?
Oh, the suspense. The suspense.
That was fun.
Did you actually
Something to
have
remember.
anything? Was there like under the table secret thing between you and Daniel, or was that just you fucking about?
Yeah.
No, that's because he when he said like this could happen, this is
Yeah.
chance. So, I thought, I'm gonna run with that. I'm
Yeah,
Okay,
gonna
cool.
sow some doubt. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
have some fun.
and I think I sent you a text where like, if you want to act more like, you can act on this, and because I was just like, you whatever, however much you want to do out of this, I just
Yep.
That's so
So
cool.
that was just
that's
That was
cool.
great.
Yeah.
That was great.
Snaps.
And also,
snaps
like, I
all
agree. I
around.
mean, often it is failure that leads to the most fun role playing.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Different people have different. Some people just want to like be the heroes all the time and win all the time, and like everything's going great. Personally, I think it's more fun to be actually really challenged, where you actually can fail, and sometimes failing is far more fun. Than
I mean,
winning.
Adeema felt the failing part, at least for the killing, several times. I'm sorry.
So many
Did you
kill
have-
stealings.
Did you have any final blows? Killing those?
Yeah, she got one.
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah.
With the
Yeah.
Manticore,
The-
right?
Towards the
The-
end,
yeah.
she had one.
The Manticore, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still clinging onto that like a mad woman. But before we get to me, we're gonna jump into my honest. Memorable, favorite, whatever sticks.
There was so many. That's the problem. Like, I think the most memorable for me would probably be the horse, but Alex took that, so he'll have that. Memorable is all the weird shit my goat did.
Go,
AKA Daniel,
Daisy!
thank
Oh, Daisy, I love
Yeah.
Daisy.
The teacup. Oh my god, thank you for that.
Yeah.
The lack of acknowledgement that I used all my fucking money on potions for Adeema. What else?
Bring me all the gnomes.
Yeah, no, there was so much falling off the cliff multiple
Several
times, never
times.
getting up.
Repeatedly.
The entire episode, I was just falling mindlessly. Oh my god.
Falling and I can't get up.
Yeah, the problem is there were so many, and there were so many beautiful moments, like conversation with Alex's character, like on the more softer side, and all the shit banter that I had with you, Katrina. It was the entire thing was just amazing. I'm sorry for not being too precise. It was just
No, I'm. For
it was
me,
up and down in every episode. I think, session. Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Do you want to add on, or you?
No, I think.
Oh,
I think,
well, you can.
I think,
You can think on it.
the Raven. The Raven was cool.
Oh,
They
don't
little
you cut that-
shit.
Just don't steal
Sorry.
my moment.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Because I was going to say that. I kind of felt that was a cool moment in the story. Because that's when we got the taste of the Star-Eyed Man. I felt like that was the moment when the whole story kind of shifted a bit from being very up, very light, very bear mayors and cow people and whatever the hoot we have here, and then we're like, oh shit, we're on a mission. This is dire shit. We need to go do the thing. That's the moment I felt like we are on a quest, and I got more immersed into the potential fight, about the climax of the story. For me, also, I've never been on the inside of a monster before, so amen for that. That was an interesting sensation. Love
We
that
need
for
to
me.
play Alien just on the back of that.
Love failing. That's epic.
It's
Great.
that's a special moment as a player. The first time your character is just like, what happened now? No, you're swallowed. You're being digested. And
It's I never done that. Thank you, Daniel. I love all firsts are fun. But besides, like as you said, Mariana, it's a singular moment. I think, and this is also something Alex said earlier. It's like we haven't played with Alex before, and some of us have played with each other for years, or some of us played for mere moments. I felt there was from get-go a collective idea of, oh my god, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun. And everybody showed up with their character. Yeah, and Daniel was very good at herding this bag of cats. Because we can trail off a lot, and he let us have weird conversations and do weird things, but he managed to keep us back on track. And then again, for me, the crow dialogue really then set like the stage for the next arc of the campaign, and I appreciate much because then a sense of urgency and dread was introduced. But again, I could say so many, like Vampire Valley Girl.
Yeah.
I want one. Where can I get one?
I'm right here, baby.
I want it to be my best friend. I want to go shopping. I'm a Vampire Valley Girl.
I need a wig and some fangs, and let's go, man.
She would be the best wing girl for any and all.
It's like Clueless meets D&D.
It's just freaking perfect.
I'm just gonna hijack one thing here and
please do.
Ask a question to you, Katrina. When we're on all of this, and what was the most teachable moment?
Oh, it's so good! So good.
The most teachable moment.
There were so
Come on,
many.
There were so many. There's so many. At this moment, I'm drawing blanks because all her teachable moments were freaking nonsense. It was just trying to elevate herself, just like feeling better about herself. But yeah, that's what's her catchphrase. Teachable moments.
I know.
I wish I had a nugget for you, but I'm like.
Objectively speaking, it probably would have been.
Maybe the viewers have examples of this.
Maybe they do, because I'm like, I said so much nonsense.
Yeah.
So don't.
If I got to pick,
You can't be accountable.
If I have to pick one, I think it would have to be when she accidentally ended up injuring or like hurting.
Oh yes.
Oh, that would
motherfucker.
That was sad.
Yeah, I was sitting on that one. Should I bring it up? Thank you, Tanya.
I didn't want to bring it up.
I thought about it and then I forgot it because I was so thinking of.
Was that with the scarecrow? No.
No,
that
that's
was
at the
the
vampire
vampire,
hunt.
it's
Yeah,
vampire.
I stabbed her. Oh, I could have
Oh,
killed her.
yeah.
I could
Yeah,
have,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
with
yeah.
my. She had little hit points left, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
Right.
like I'm very fabulous.
Right.
Nope.
And to turn it around, and then she's so sad. I'm like, it's a teaching. My character was sometimes such a jackass. I'm so sorry. I'm hope there will be a redemption story of her.
Mm.
Well, she
horrible
wasn't the
sense
only
of
one.
self. I think there is potential to all, but on that, I think it's also interesting to ask some specific details about character choices and stuff. So for Mariana, why a goat?
Um, um, it wasn't a goat in the beginning. It was actually a sheep. Because I made this. I was like, I knew she was going to be a farmer. I didn't know she was going to be a herder, but she was going to be a farmer type girl. I made this. I think I wrote down a little, like, small little bit, like it was. She came from Sheep's Creek, and it was very sheep related, and she was wearing a wolf hood because I don't know. There was a whole thing, and I rewrote that afterwards.
Yeah,
And then I was like,
I think I wrote you about page and a half about, because you said Sheep's Creek, and I just like, oh yeah, here's
Yep,
the village,
yeah,
and I just
yeah.
made the village for you and sent
Yeah,
it to you.
and it was exactly what I was imagining. So that was just like, are you fucking reading my mind? I think I would say like seen a British document or something. I don't know. And then at the same time, I was walking my dog, thinking about sheeps, and then she stood there, Daisy, in front of me. 5 goats were placed right outside of my house. So there it was.
Drawing
Completely
ends.
random.
Art imitates life, imitates art.
Thank
Love
you, BBC.
it.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, my dreams and reality. Yeah.
All of the above. I'm gonna give some more individual questions on personal choices of character. For Tai,
Hmm?
the most, except for his very, very cool sense of dressing, I think, and also the voice. How did you end up deciding that that's how you want to portray him? How did that come about?
Partly because I felt he had to have a bit of a specific voice, and I wanted to have a bit of an annoying voice, like someone who you have feeling like, yeah, here's someone who thinks he's really better than everyone. I really like uppity kind of voice, something grating, something that stood at odds with how he perceived himself. Like he perceived himself as, like I said, I am the spot in the room. Probably a bit jealous that the way Adeema was idolized by Wren, was how Wren saw Adeema was how everyone should see me. And I stole the name from a character in a TV show called animated TV show called The Venture Brothers. Venture Bros, where it's a Dr. Orpheus with, and he's got a very iconic voice, not that great thing, but like very like high pitched and like a bit booming, and so I thought, yeah, let's give him a voice that does not in any way match his self-inflated ego. Let's give him a voice
so
of.
cool. I got such a mind's eye of your character, by the way, but I got that of all. But I got tired for me. He stands out a little bit because he's like equally like a little bit shitty like mine. So it's like easy stands out. If you're finished,
You two and a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Can we get that as just a singular episode?
should be a podcast. Adeema and Morpheus talk about life,
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not a monthly.
We
We teach you
podcast.
how to live your life.
teachable moments,
Yeah.
and magics.
I mean, that's what it should be called, Teachable Moments. That's the name of the podcast.
No, that's the name of the podcast. For you, Alex, again, because you also had pet, which was quite a big part of quite a majority of the campaign. How did you end on that specific pet, and how did you feel the relationship between the character and the pet worked out? Was it how you planned?
So, I mean, it's like a specific. That's like a main feature of that subclass of Ranger, right? The Beastmaster. And there was a release a little while ago of there's like a twist of the Beastmaster that you could essentially originally you would just have like one animal, and you would kind of bond with that animal, which then doesn't really scale. So like I'm thinking about it both story wise, but also like mechanics wise, right? Like that's that kind of in between. And so this version of the Beastmaster, you can essentially kind of take the spirit of that animal and put it into something else. So you could have a beast of the sky, the land, and the sea. I think those are the three ones. So the main, like I wrote Baast as like, cool, I want to do like a desert thing. Most rangers are forests and woods and things. I want them to be like desert themed. And I was thinking like sort of Assassin's Creed-esque, but like with a goblin vibe.
Love that.
Like that type of thing. Like I'd played Assassin's Creed Origins pretty early on, so I had like
I
the
love that.
Egyptian imagery
Yeah.
in my head and like the pyramids and the desert and things. And they were all like this hyenas, this vultures, this like desert animals, right? So I would just like, because everyone always has like either a cute or a really cool Beastmaster or what's the wizard version?
Familiar.
A familiar, yeah. They're always cute or cool or whatever, and like and vultures are just this ugly fucking like disgusting creature. They're really cool. Like they kind of like I'm not gonna go on vulture
Wait,
facts.
it's not National Geographic, but yeah.
It's not that type of show. But so I'm thinking like that kind of fits, and also Baast has this like kind of goblin elf mix going on. So it's not like the most typical Western standard of beauty,
Yeah.
right? So like that kind of fit, and then we need like a hyena thing. Those are kind of dirty. I just wanted animals that ate other dead animals. Like that's what we're going for
Each
with
of the
this.
Deads. Love
Yeah.
that.
And
Yeah,
I don't-
feel-
I-
super
yeah.
cohesive. Super cohesive. Love that.
And I don't think he would have had like a beast of the sea, because like he's never been to the sea. Like he's never
No.
been to with ocean really.
No, but we're going to keep a pin in that because I might segue back to something
Yeah.
that's going to involve all you guys. But then I'm going to ask Daniel this question. Favorite non-player character and why?
Ooh, that's when I was writing it, I had a favorite early on. You never met that character ever. So I was like, yeah. But I always like making a fun of characters. So I must say, the horse became a favorite quite fast, but that was so unplanned. It was so on the
Random.
spot, and I was just like, of course you can do that. Fuck, I need to be a horse. And so just that was a little bit on the spot, and I really enjoyed that. But also, I had so much fun when writing or making the farmer, because I knew if you guys, interacted with them, that it would just, especially when you come in as faded and being heroes and all of that, and they just don't give a shit. But of
Oh,
course,
I
my
love that character
actual
as well.
true favorite NPC is, of course, the Starry-Eyed Man, because I've written so much backstory that I don't
Gotta
know.
love a villain.
Yeah, but also I don't
His
know
name
why
was
I've
Orpheus,
made-
and then he invented time traveling.
Oh, that would have been so epic. Because he used to be a faded, so that would actually
Yeah.
fit. I'm just
yeah.
saying. I just picked it. XP.
XP. Yeah, you go up 5 levels.
That's coming cloning.
But yeah, and also just a quick note on Alex's character, because the Beastmaster in the player's handbook is garbage. It's absolute the subclass
Trash.
that it's really cool flavor, but just mechanically doesn't work. So the book is called Tasha's. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Just in case anybody is wondering.
Oh, cool.
Where it's so yeah.
Appreciate
Because
it.
that's a rework or sort of additional things that was put in to sort of fix or just make better a few classes that were heavily underplayed.
Yeah, it's also kind of the thing of like if your beast companion would die with the like original rules, Like that is such a dramatic thing to have to roleplay. Like
Yeah.
if you don't want to do like deep drama, trauma stuff, having it in a sense of a spirit that can just be reincarnated
Yeah.
into another
It's
thing,
easier.
Yeah.
much better. Like
Because also
casual fun game stuff,
Yeah.
great, do that.
Yeah, because I mean, I think like, but if you go by stats and just use the player's handbook, like the maximum health it can get is around, I think it's like close to 50, which is in late levels. It's nothing, you know. Any bad guy can just like that, and the thing is gone. So just in the late game, it's just
Finger
like,
guns.
I need to protect my dog because it's dying. It's gonna die if anything touches it. And most of your class is based on, well, it should go out.
You
there and
sounded
sort of
like
be-
Christopher Walking, by the way, in that moment.
No. My dog is
It's gonna
dying.
die, you know. I was like, oh, impressive. But
Your
I'm
companion is
gonna,
gonna die.
I love it. We could have an entire episode just talking about character and character creation, and I love that. But I need to round this Q&A up, and I'm gonna
Railroading.
elegantly so, because someone has to, and that job is my job this evening. And I'm gonna finish off the last question, and everybody should answer it. But I'm not gonna start with the GM on this one. He has to wait.
Start with
I'm gonna start-
yourself.
I'm gonna start with myself. Okay, I'm gonna start with. Well, I'm gonna ask the question first. Would you return? Would you play D&D again? And would you play the same character? And I will start. And I think I've already said something about that. I
1,
would
2,
love
3,
to.
everyone at the same time.
No, no. Hold on. We can. No, that's suspense. Teachable moment. Wait, your turn.
Your Adeema is showing.
Yeah, I know. Is my Adeema out?
That's a new
Oh
saying.
no!
Someone's being a bit, you know, like. Oh,
You're
It's your Adeema showing.
Your Adeema is showing.
Yeah, it's out, and she is snapping all over the place. Yes, I would love to. I think it would be fun to see them aged a little bit and revisit them in another fabulous, horroring, dark quest. I would love to be able to revisit the character and just have it aged a bit. That would be snaps fun. So, Mariana.
Hell yeah. Yes. I would play Wren again any day of the week. She was too much fun. And yeah, I think this group and our characters have so much stuff that I feel like we need to do or need to talk about, or I don't know. We need just like 10 episodes at a tavern. I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
mama.
So yeah.
Like group therapy would
Yeah,
be more
I
like.
was about to say, before we have the next, like, so if we revisit it, there's gonna be like a 3-episode just therapy session.
We need it desperately. So that's you, Mariana. So Taye.
Oh yeah, definitely. I enjoyed playing. It can be quite fun playing an annoying character.
Yeah. Cool.
No, yeah, but I agree with you. It'll be fun to see him like grow a little bit. A little time has passed, perhaps a little bit. So you could like move the character progression a little bit.
Maybe a
more
little salt and
in
pepper.
personality. Yeah, but and also it would be great playing with not only with you as players again, but with the character as well. Because I thought it was a pretty unique and fun group of
Potential
characters.
is great.
Yeah. I mean, it's always fun when you have a group of characters that you can just role play.
Yeah.
Like, no problem have role playing like 10-15 minutes, just them being themselves, not necessarily progressing the plot, but just being themselves.
Agreed.
Well, Alex, now you can.
No, I mean
The
I'm
floor-
gonna
the floor is yours.
I'm gonna echo what everyone else has said as well. I had a ton of fun, and also coming into a group not having played with any of you, and honestly only had met one of you, right? Like I only know Daniel, and so going into it and he's just flowing like immediately, like there's no issue at all. The only issue is like we have too much to say and we speak over each other. Like that's like a positive problem in a sense.
Yeah.
Like there's no trying to drag anyone along or so it's super fun. I'd love to play again. And I do agree with it would be fun to jump in like after a while, because I feel like this feels like wrapped in terms of Baast. Like, cool, I had this thing to do, I got my revenge, I said what I was going to do, I'm gonna go back and serve my people type of thing. So it would be interesting to see like what would drag him out again. Maybe it
That's
would
what-
be like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe it's a second part. And
Yeah.
then, all the meats, because you have all this. Yeah, but now I'm jumping in. But Daniel.
I already have 3 parts prepared, so.
hell yeah.
Yeah, the day after we recorded last, I sat and I just wrote because I've loved this so much, and yeah, it was, and also it was so much fun, but also so inspiring to do. So I have written up sort of a little bit ahead, a little further ahead, and a long sort of. So I have points of to pick, like, yeah, what should we go for? What are the stakes and all of that? And yeah, so I would absolutely love to return to this.
Thank you so much, Daniel. It's been such a positive experience for me. That's been an advert. D&D is not for me. No, clearly D&D is for me. Who knew?
Yeah.
And that goes to show, and it's a big love fest. I'm sorry, the viewers, but we are very, very affectionate and we love each other. It is unusual, though it falls with a great storyteller or GM, dungeon master, that recognizes its players and gives them time and space. You can have fun even if you are like me, that's I don't know. Now I'm like, give me more.
Yeah.
I have this character with these issues. She
Yeah.
needs to develop a better personality.
I
I need to work this out.
Yeah, I need to work it out.
Yeah.
I need therapy.
Just love to actually just be physically in the room, because we are having so much fun and all of that over web, and trying not to talk over each other, and I just can imagine the chaos if
In
we're
the
just
room,
actually
it
in
would
the
be
room.
nuts.
They
I would
would
be out of
just-
my chair.
Oh yeah, I think I genuinely believe someone would throw something at somebody else, and just like that would happen. At some point, someone would just
We would
take
stand up, we
just
shouting.
take
Yeah,
some
we can-
snacks
I'll bring
and
my
throw them at you.
LARP swords and axes, and
We
we
can
can
just
have
But
it.
that's
Have at it.
But I think at least to wrap up, there is one thing is call back to what Alex asked about if you prepare differently for tabletop, like when everyone's in a room versus streaming. I think the one actually advantage of streaming when it comes to like role playing a bit is that because you're doing it for an audience, it forces you to be a bit more in character, to keep a bit of take the banter outside of the game.
Yeah, the peanut gallery.
Before and after, the pinnacle after before, and makes you a bit more focused. So
Yeah, you have to be more involved quietly in what's happening around. But on that note, we're gonna wrap this absolutely fun Q&A up. But I'm gonna leave the last words to Daniel, as he has signed us off several episodes before.
Thank you so much, Katrina, and thank you to everybody here. It's been an absolute pleasure, and by the sounds of it, all of us want to do it again. So it is actually up to you, dear viewer, if you actually want to see this again. So comment down below, leave the likes, share it with people, because if this miniseries does well, then yeah, we'll return to it. Because if it doesn't do well, we'd be like, oh, we really had fun, but if
We're gonna do it anyways, who cares?
yeah, but also it will be in, if it does really well, we'll return faster to it, I'm just saying.
Just
That
So-
depends on how long our season 3 vampire will be.
Yeah, don't worry
that's
about
very long.
never-ending story.
it. Don't worry, everything's gonna burn. Everybody.
It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Don't worry about it.
But on that,
But yes, so thank you so much, dear viewer, as well, for sitting through this, and please leave comments down below. What has your favorite moments been? Is there anything else you've that we haven't answered? If you want to know something specifically about the world, leave it down in the comments, and I'll try to, keep it within the character limits and not leave 17 comments on an absolutely just a minus skewed question. But yeah. And also just a special thanks to Alex for just for taking the challenge. And it wasn't because when I asked you, there was like the owner was like, when. It wasn't like, I need details. It was when.
Who are these fuckheads?
Yeah.
We heard.
And just how you absolutely just melded into it, and how it seemed. I felt like I've been playing with this group for years already.
Yeah.
Which is weird because we haven't.
Yeah.
Lovefest.
So yeah.
Yeah, no.
No, it's been wonderful. Thanks for having me. I've said it a bunch of times, but it's so much fun. Just effortless. Just yeah, it's great. It's great. Love to do it again.
And with all
And
of
with
that,
your candles. Sorry, Daniel. Those were epic.
Yeah, loved you guys.
Oh yeah, my studio.
Great lighting,
for
sir.
sure.
Yeah.
highly
Yeah.
professional.
Professionals
there.
Yeah.
So yes, the viewer again. Thank you so much, and thank you to all the players. And it's been an absolutely amazing journey, and I can't wait to return to it. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, peeps.